Social Security is running out of money, and you might have heard that before, and you might be hearing it more often in the coming years. And I want to talk about that because it could potentially be affecting your life, not just when you retire, but even in the next couple of years. I want to talk about what's going on. I also want to be talking a little bit about some of the changes that might be coming to Social Security that can affect you, and then also a couple of different ways that you can help protect yourself when it comes to something like this having a huge impact on your personal finance. Now, if this is by chance your first video with us, my name is Dennis, and here on TruFinancials, we love talking about ways to build wealth and be more financially free so we can kind of avoid worrying about things like this. So make sure you have that subscribe button hit down below and tap on that bell if you want to be notified when more videos like this come up. So as I mentioned, you might have heard a couple different times before in the past about Social Security running out of money. What does that really mean, and how can that have an impact on you today? Now, of course, some of the different things that are going on right now with Social Security is projections are showing that by 2035, we're not going to have enough money to pay off the full benefits of every single person that's in retirement. And that's a really big deal, even if you're not going to be retiring by 2035, because those implications are going to have an impact on your future as well as that current time when things are changing. Now, the reason this is so important to pay attention to is because a lot of people put a lot of their weight onto Social Security for their retirement. So right now, statistically, over 50% of elderly married couples rely on half of their income coming from Social Security, and over 71% of elderly single individuals are also relying on half of their income coming from Social Security. So that means people are really reliant on this stuff. And if that's the case, that can mean even more down the road. And right now there are over 49 million people retired. And by 2035, when it's expected that we are running out of money, it is actually going to jump up all the way to 79 million people being retired. And that's a huge number because all of a sudden we have a larger sum of people in retirement and not a larger sum of people getting into the workforce, as our generations have kind of changed up the way they are producing children and going into that process of creating families to help pay for the next generation in retirement. So when we're talking about Social Security running out of money, it's not necessarily having zero money in the bank. It's not actually having enough to be able to pay all the expenses that are going out, to pay all the paychecks, to pay all of the actual benefits that they promise to people when it comes to Social Security. So technically, as of 2020, it's projected that we are not going to have as much going into Social Security as there is going out of Social Security. And that will actually be the first time since 1982, which can obviously have an effect on overall decisions that are going to be coming down the pipeline for everyday people that are paying taxes. So what this truly means is if we continue on the path of having less money going into Social Security than what's coming out of it, we're gonna have to change the way things are being ran. And of course, with Congress and the way they actually have to project things, they're looking into a couple different options. So what this would mean for you and I is that payroll taxes would probably increase, which would mean immediately we would have to start paying more into Social Security to help cover all the benefits for people in retirement at that given time. And so that means we have less in our pockets to be able to spend on things we want, to save, to pay off debts, or do anything else with. And that has an immediate impact on our economic use of our money because we have to be a little bit more strategic on how we spend less of our money. So another option would be to actually start raising the retirement age, which would also have a huge impact on a lot of people watching, because if you are not already retired, this can change up how you plan for retirement. If you're retiring in the next couple of years and they bump up retirement by an additional 5, that can have a huge impact on how you have to manage your money and plan for the future. Same thing for myself and others included. If you by chance are another 40 years away from retirement, but they change the age by another 5 or even 10 years, you have to now project a little bit further down the road to be able to let your money continue to grow and be there for you when you retire. So another option that they talk about is actually changing up the formula of how people receive their benefits, which essentially means that they can be changing a couple different things, whether it's how much you're actually receiving every single month, or even how you actually get an increase every year for your cost of living. And that can have a dramatic effect on people who are retiring or planning on retiring with an estimated amount that they would have every single month. Because if all of a sudden you are only getting 1% increase every year instead of the 2 or whatever number it is currently, that can have a dramatic impact on how you can plan for the future, how you can afford things, because of course the rate of inflation will have an impact on your overall spending and how you can actually pay for things. So that option might not technically affect you as an individual if you're not yet retired, but it could technically if you have a family member that's currently in retirement that can see a dramatic change in the retirement system and their paychecks, because that can have a huge impact if you expect one total and you end up with quite a bit less. So before we talk about how you can protect yourself from the worries of Social Security, I actually want to hear from you in the comments down below. What is your whole thought process on Social Security? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you for it? Are you against it? I want to hear from you guys down below. And if you enjoy these type of videos, make sure you hit that like button down below. And if not, go ahead and just double tap on that dislike button. So how do you protect yourself against something like Social Security? And that, of course, is by paying attention to your overall finances. It might sound simple, but having a projected plan of where you want to be by retirement can go a long way. Now, of course, you don't need to know exactly what you want to do, but having a good picture of what it is can go a long way. Do you want to go traveling when you're in retirement? Do you want to sit at home and do nothing? Do you want to maybe go fishing all the time? Whatever the case may be, have that plan in place and have it in your mind. Because when you do that, you can start planning for your future through your 401k, your Roth retirement account, or any other means to have a future ready for yourself. Because then what you are gonna do in this time period is understand that everything you're working for is to be able to do those things in retirement. So of course, hearing about these stories can sound really scary and freak people out because Social Security is really supposed to be there to help protect us for our futures. But I personally am of the mindset that we need to take care of ourselves and have a plan in place for our own futures. So what that really means is making sure that you have some type of retirement account set up for yourself and not relying on the government just because that option is there. Nothing is ever guaranteed, and it's always in your best interest to invest in yourself and not let anybody else do it for you. So make sure you have some kind of 401k, Roth IRA, regular IRA, 403b, or whatever option it is available for you for retirement. Now, of course, having a IRA, a Roth, or even a 401k, even a 403b can really go a long way. And if you want to make sure that you have a good amount of money left in your retirement, click on this video right over here to learn how you can make sure you have over $1 million by retirement.